Make sure y'all stay right there. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Part 2. Eat with a poet.
Plant it and grow it. That's all that artificial food come out to it.
Hey y'all, what up? It's your girl Elena the Poet coming to you, asking you once again, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Elena Poet at youtube.com. Yeah, Elena Poet. Subscribe, y'all. Eat with the Poet. Peace.
So anyway, like I was saying, you have to make a choice, right? I believe that, this is my belief, that you have to make a choice. You want blue cheese? You have to make a choice, because even the Bible says that I will not have you hot and I will not have you cold. It's like this. It's like a man who tells a woman, baby, you know I love you. You know I love you, but you know I like her. You know I like women, though. I love you, but you know I like women. So does at any point does she have to put her foot down and say, hey, you know, it's me or it's nothing? Or has this man decided you are who I love, but because I love women, I'm going to be able to be with women because that's who I love? At what point do you make a solid choice? It's going to be the same thing with spirituality, right?
You don't have to make a choice.
Why,
you just evolve. You just evolve yourself to the next setting. You know what I'm saying?
You chose to do that.
Yeah, but it's
Did not you choose to evolve? You can choose to stay in the same state.
but I'm not going to choose that element. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to choose to do this or that. Like, I'm a Libra, so I'm always balanced. I'm never unbalanced. Either I'm going to be totally wild or I'm totally, like, left. I'm like, crazy. But knowledge keeps me balanced because I never go over. No, knowledge is knowing the ledge. And that's what made me so good on radio. I could say and do all the things that you're not supposed to say, but I say them in a way that I can get away with it. Because I know the ledge. I know the difference between knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Oh, yeah.
So I have that consciousness.
Like Dave Chappelle.
You know,
can say things intelligently and be able to get away with it because you know how to do it.
And that's the master. That's our self-law and master. When you've mastered your craft, then can't nothing move that. You know what I'm saying? We have to bring ourselves back to the people that we were, not the people that they colonized us to become. You know what I'm saying?
But see, and I can get with that. The only problem I have with that is we working with imperfection from the start as people.
No,
because
not from the start.
Imperfect.
Not from the start at all. Not from the start.
But
like,
we're not born perfect.
I tell people like this. My family were never slaves. So I don't understand the slave mentality. When I moved down here south, when I moved to Florida, everything that I took in 7th grade, they was giving it to us in 9th grade. So I ain't pay attention in school because I already did it already. You see what I'm saying? We was evolved. They set y'all back in the South. Jim Crow laws, all these things was to set y'all back. Everything. They gave it to y'all. Well, we had a choice. We didn't have to go through all these things. You could just stay in your own environment, your own community, and evolve.
And see, and that's the power in a lot of times too, where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are so lucky to have been able to experience coming from certain parts. But then I have to say I'm blessed too, because I wouldn't want to be born in a third world country, you know, and have to experience that. You know, I could never even fathom what those people have to go through. Let's know what they have to hold on to get them through a day. So I'm grateful for my spirituality.
Like I tell everybody, J. Edgar Hoover in 1965, he said the 13th United States is not China, it's not Russia, it's black unity. Interesting. This is what he said was a threat to the United States, and from that point on, the COINTEL program was created. Martin Luther King was killed, Malcolm X was killed, and there was a war on the Black Panthers, all based off of that statement.
Wow.
This is what people not looking at. You see what I'm saying? This is an actual fact that became law and people died, and nobody's paying attention to this. You know what I'm saying?
So how would you say we as a people would be able to get through on a day-to-day basis. Like, you know, I was talking to this one lady and she said, I asked her, because I ask this question often, especially if I'm working with you or we doing something where we have to be connected consistently. I've asked, what is your prayer life like? Because I just kind of want to know before I get totally invested. And she said, well, you know, I pray in the mornings and sometimes I listen to Les Brown or I listen to some motivational speaking and stuff like that. So some people will turn on their motivational speaking and that'll just be enough to get through the day. And some people will sit back and read their books and feel more educated. Like I've talked to people who are Moors of the art. You're not of a Moor, right? But what do you feel about that? Because I talked to some people like that, and to me, some of these things that people grab a hold to believe in and have facts to whatever, they just become so much more, I don't want to say arrogant, but it's almost like they feel like they're better than you because they know something.
They're reciting something that you don't know.
Right.
But it's not their own understanding. It's
right.
like a Hebrew Israelite. Hebrew Israelite, all they're going to do is quote from you from the Bible, but they're never going to give you their own understanding. So all you're doing is reciting for me what somebody else has put into your head. That's
right.
not you. You know what I'm saying? Even a person like for me, my father's a minister. So when I started understanding how Christianity is the reason why, you know, we're in a situation where we're in, as far as people that are slavery, you know, if you didn't choose Christianity, you had to stay in the field. It was a field, and you had to stay out and be in the work on the side. If you chose Christianity, you got to go in the house and be a house nigga and go to school and be.
Because Christianity was a thing in slave days. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's how they controlled you. That was part of the control. So the fact I'm reading this, I'm like, damn. But I know my grandfather, my father's grandfather, was a minister. He lived up on a mound. This church was right across the street from my house. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up in his church, and every time I used to walk down the block, he would always see me from the high. You know what I'm saying? I was 4 or 5 years old walking down to the project. And so when I started going to church with my father, I made a book called Gameplay of Consciousness, and I sent it to my father.
You made it? You wrote it?
I wrote a book, right.
Okay.
I sent it to my father. My father said, I want you to preach the second Sunday at my church. The second Sunday was when he first started preaching in January. That was when he first started.
How old were you?
Maybe, I don't remember, 20-something, almost 30 though.
Oh, okay.
And so I went to Dim Week in Tallahassee, and then I came there. I left like right after the concert, going right to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Smoked me a joint in the morning. And I read these passages in Matthew where it said, I am my father's son, and I do the work of my father. You know what I'm saying? And it took me to the elements of understanding the pharaohs is where Christianity come from as the origin, because the pharaoh's son would take over the kingdom. And so there was what they call Coptic Christians that was in Kemet at the time. They was all Coptic. It was called Coptic.
What that mean? What Coptic mean?
Coptic, because that's the element of a person that is like vowed to this element. You know what I'm saying? It's the people, it's Coptic people.
Okay.
And so the pharaohs were the first Christians, but it wasn't about religion. It was about succeeding the lineage of your family. You know what I'm saying? And then I found out that my father is related to a pharaoh.
Wow.
Ancestry.com, you know what I'm saying? So
say you should try African ancestry.
Yeah, but I understand. That's for people who don't understand, but I understand what I'm reading. Okay. So it was crazy because for me, like, the thing that I can't despise is Christianity, I have to now embrace. You know what I'm saying? And that's another proverb. The things that you hate, you have to embrace. So now that you can control it, because you should never really hate anything. Hate is terrible. You know what I'm saying? So
hate Christianity or just
I hated Christianity. Like I don't believe in Jesus Christ. I don't believe in all these things. That's not what I'm on.
Okay.
So, as my father being a minister, I used to tell him these situations before he asked me to preach. You see what I'm saying? I don't believe in
So
this.
you
blah,
told
blah,
me
blah.
like I don't believe in this before I get up here.
So when I actually preached, when I preached, I am my father's son. We are all gods. I put, you know what I'm saying. And our objective is to do the work of our fathers as God. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff was in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? I pulled it out, songs, all these different, Most High, put out all the elements that I believe, because it was funny because first time when I got baptized, Tyrone Crider, he worked for Jesse Jackson. He's the one that did his Operation Push and all that. Him and my father,
that name sound
him
familiar.
and my father, real close friends. So we're out to eat, and my dad's like, "I want you to be a minister." I said, "Man, I can't be a minister." You know what I'm saying? I ain't about that life. Woo. So that night at the everything I said, Tyrone would talk about it in the Bible. So the third day, I was like, "Man, I can't be in Christianity because I'm about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding." So then he came in and he talked about.
That thing was bothering you. You was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, so he talked about the story of Meshach and how
Meshach and Abednego.
J.O. Chin needed somebody with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to build his temple. Automatically, when he said J.O. Chin, that's masonry for us, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So after church, I told my dad, okay, I'll get baptized. So I got baptized at this church first. And then I came back and preached at the church. So I'm an ordained minister at my father's church. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I tell him, it's like I'm about the history of Christianity, because when you're dealing with Easter was in the age of when it was all goddesses. You know what I'm saying? And then Easter.
Do we know any of the goddesses?
Yeah. Wajet, Mayat, Alset. Their names are out there. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what.
I've never heard those names said.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to come outside and understand it. Mesopotamia, Sumerian, these are all the old civilizations that existed before the Bible.
But it's not African. It's Greek.
No, it's not African.
It's Greek.
No, it's not Greek.
What is it?
This is before Greek.
But so what is it?
Mesopotamia is
Mesopotamia.
Sumeria is Sumeria.
Okay.
These are areas where we was at even before coming into Africa. We were all from Africa. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what crackers told y'all. Y'all believe everything that's what they told y'all. Y'all believe everything that they tell y'all. If they don't tell y'all, y'all don't think it's true. You know what I'm saying? So you got all these different elements of culture that exist. You know what I'm saying? That is happening. Like when you talk about the Moors were Berbers and Arabs that crossed over the streets of Gibraltar at 711 and took over what became Spain and France. They took over from 711 to 1492. 800 years. You know what I'm saying? They ran it and controlled it. You know what I'm saying? And so there's not a people called the Moors, because they were called Berbers and Arabs. Moors is what Europeans call dark-skinned people. You know what I'm saying? So there's not a nationality called Moor. Even people in Morocco aren't Moors, but they try to connect that.
So Moors don't really exist. That's just something.
No, I'm not going to say Moors don't exist. It's that they're not a nationality. Like Noble Drew Ali created the Moor Science Temple. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that is sick. Noble Drew Ali was a Native American. He was a Turner. You know, like our last names, we try to give our last names because of religion, but our last names connect us back to the land of being from here. You know what I'm saying? So Turner's is Tunica. Washington's is Washita. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have to gain this information, gain this knowledge, so that you have awareness. And now you start to see, well, damn, that's why they called Washington, D.C., because that was who controls the land.
And I think it's cool too, to know those things. But I'm so sold out that it would just be information to me. And I'm cool with just knowing. Because like how you said, you don't have to make a choice. Not necessarily you, but I definitely made a choice. Let me do something real quick, because this is going to be the first time we do this on Eva the Poet, so I'm going to interrupt this little conversation real quick. I'm going to get the carrot cake now, boo. I'm going to get the cake now. Right now, I am going to gift my guest, because it is his birthday, and I don't want to get too deep off in this thing. So I did bring you something, and this is for you because it's your birthday. And if you look inside the green bag, you are the first one to ever in life get one of those. I know your hands are a little dirty, but I wanted to make sure that you know you are the first person in the whole wide world to wear your first Even the Poet t-shirt. So you can represent Even the Poet because you are the man, Mr. Teddy T. And then I bought you a little something to drink on for a nightcap when you go home. Just a little something major, you know. But this time we show you a little love here on Eat with a Poet.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
So listen, I want you to take the last couple of minutes and just tell somebody or these people, some or all that are watching, that something that can be helpful when it comes to living your life on a daily basis and being able to make it through life's things that it's going to throw at you, the hurdles that it's going to throw at you. For me, with this conversation, spirituality versus consciousness, how would you tell someone that this would be able to help them daily?
What I want everybody to understand, stop separating everything. Stop, like when we watch their verses, they're not against each other. We're celebrating their music. So spirituality and consciousness, you have to have both to evolve to a higher consciousness. If you separate it, you can never evolve to a higher consciousness. It's about synchronization. Everything is as one. You put the pieces together to see the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Separation is the means of the people trying to control you, because the cipher's complete when you build with people you meet. When we talk together, there will be certain things that she's going to say based off of common sense, and I'm going to be like, damn, I should have thought about that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I build on, common sense. Not religion, not laws. I build off of straight common sense and universal laws. You know what I'm saying? Where you reap what you sow. You know, things that your grandmother taught you. These are the things that we need to evolve with, the things that is already in our family traditions and cultures. Quit running outside of these elements and stay home. If you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. Them crackers told y'all was Africa, and that's all y'all say is we African, but yet we the first people on all areas of the land. So how can we just be African? And Africa was just North Africa, and that came like in 180, and that didn't have nothing to do with sub-Saharan Africa. So if you're going to say something, at least take the time to learn the history of it so you can correct yourself, because Africans don't even call themselves Africans. They call themselves whatever country they're from, Nigerians, Ethiopians. So let's be realistic, man. Let's use common sense and quit letting these European colonizations control our minds. You know what I'm saying? Now they don't even know what they're doing. They just did it years ago, and it's still, even, you know, there's no such thing as white or black people. We're not a color, we're a pigment. This is not a color, this is pigmentation. Black and brown is dominant.
And that's the love, y'all. And you know, if I had to bring it in, boo, I just want y'all to see this real quick. I had to do this for Teddy because it's his birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Sing it, boo.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Teddy.
Yes.
Happy birthday to
You.
It's beautiful. You know, it's good. We have Burger 48 because
Tell them where you at, Teddy.
we have Burger 48, and I've watched Chef's evolution. You know what I'm
Chef
saying?
Corey. One
Chef
time for
Corey's
Chef Corey,
evolution
y'all.
from, we used to be together. I used to DJ at Fortunes.
Oh, Fortunes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so Chef
I
Corey
remember
started
that.
at Fortunes and then went down to New York Jazz Lounge, and from there he's here. And this is how we evolve yourself.
That's
You
it.
have your own self-determination.
That's
And
it.
you evolve yourself to better yourself and sustain yourself.
That's it.
And now you become an individual, because people and freedoms is a conflict of interest. Only individuals can have freedom and autonomy.
Come on now. Go ahead and preach to the people. I ain't gonna piggyback, but I'm gonna throw something real quick on his back and I'm gonna jump off. God first and everything. You know, for me, that's just it. I can't even change it. That's what it is. That's what it was. That's what it's gonna be. When they bury me on my gravestone tomb, they gonna say Elena Worley, born what year was I born? 1980, gone such and such, known as Elena the Poet, and hashtag Jesus Girl. That's it, y'all. We do thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Eat with a Poet. Y'all don't go nowhere. Y'all come back.
Yeah.
Really back.
Wild Man Teddy T 333 on IG. Follow me.
Yeah.
Peace to all the queens. What's up out there? We live. Tapping in. I need everybody to tap in. Cool people. Eat with a Poet. Subscribe. Never leak it or show it. Gotta pull your own weight. If you reap it, you sow it. Come eat with a Poet. Gotta plant it and grow it. Drop that artificial food. Come and eat with a Poet. Kicking words with the poets, I get lyrical. Physical is great, my journey now is spiritual. Peace to the queens in the nation and foreign. I would like to introduce you to Elena the Poet. Stayed down in the jungle like some bare feet. Now when we toast, ace of spade, no more bare feet. Poking beans, Dane County, yeah, I'm still hood. Spread love, feed the homeless cause it feels good. Now pay attention, this is knowledge of wealth. Throw the school books away, this is knowledge of self. Quiet is kept, listen, this the revolution broadcast. Now pay attention to Elena and her podcast. Never leak it and show it. Gotta pull your own weight if you reap it, you sow it. Yeah, gotta plant it and grow it. Drop that artificial food, come and eat with a Poet. Come eat with a Poet. Shout out to Elena the Poet. Cool people. See, I need everybody to tap in, subscribe. Spread love. You know what I'm talking about? Black power. Black power. Black queens. Black kings. All Shout kings. Out to all the kings. All queens. Forward movement.